Good morning, Upper School. Welcome to the Senior Speeches for the class of 2022. We ask that you please silence your cell phone before the event to honor today's speakers. Our first speaker today is Finley Lowe. Finley will be introduced by her sister, Ainsley Lowe.
Hi, I'm Ainsley, who most commonly known as Finley's younger sister. When Finley was a kid, she always played with her Barbies. And as her little sister, I wanted to play with her. But she wouldn't include me because apparently I didn't know what was going on in her Barbie's heads, which I thought she could have told me, but Finley and I had different views on that subject. Obviously, that made me mad, so I would then proceed to take my American Girl dolls by the feet and beat her with them. Finley clearly did not like sharing with me, and she hasn't changed much. Now, she only shares very few things with me, one of which is the TV shows she constantly watches, which you get to hear about in her speech. My sister and I have grown a lot closer, and I couldn't be more honored to introduce my big sister. But when Finley first asked me to introduce her, of course I was happy she asked, but I was mostly wondering if she would hug me after it. Because if there's one thing I know about my sister, it's that her least favorite thing in the world is when I hug her. So now we are all about to find out the answer to my question. Without further ado, Finley.
Grey's Anatomy, Gossip Girl, and the Bachelor franchise shows. What do all of these have in common? Me. As many of you know, I watch the same 3 shows over and over and over again. And I know people say that doing the same thing over and over again is a sign of being crazy, but you'll already know that I'm crazy. So let's get into it. I enjoy rewatching the same shows for 2 reasons. The first being, I like to know what's going to happen. I've never liked surprises, and I especially don't like to be scared. I won't even play hide and seek with the kids I babysit because I'm scared they're going to jump out at me. I like to know the ending. I don't care if it's a happy or sad one, but I just want to know what's going to happen. The second reason I'm a rewatcher is that I'm a multitasker. I have to be playing a game on my phone, shopping, or texting a friend. Whatever distraction it may be, I can't just watch the show. This makes it hard to follow what's going on in a new show, and so I like to rewatch. My first and favorite show is Grey's Anatomy. This is the show that I've rewatched the most. I can pick up any episode and follow the storyline because I've seen it so many times. Currently, I'm rewatching season 17 so I can be ready and remember what happened when season 18 comes out. Ever since I picked up Grey's freshman year, I've never had to worry about it ending because there's so many seasons. By now, I have a very intense emotional connection to the characters. I cry every time Meredith brings up Derek or Christina after they've left her, laugh anytime Jo uses her trauma as comedic relief, and get angry anytime I see Owen Hunt. I love Grey so much because it's always there for me. I do not like change, and when new big things happen in my life, it tends to overwhelm me. Grace would never do that to me. While the inner workings of the show change, the show itself is always running, and I can always count on it for my nightly episode. While Grey's Anatomy is a drama with many love affairs, breakups, and makeups, at the center of it is the fact that they're actually doctors. Since they are doctors, everyone is counting on them, and they have to be willing to sacrifice their time for others. Specifically, Meredith Grey. She's the biggest supporter and advocate for her patients. She will go to any lengths, including almost getting her medical license taken away for the good of her patients. I believe I exemplify some of the same traits as Meredith Grey. I play field hockey, lacrosse, I'm in the play, and participate in many clubs. I love being in these organizations and activities and like to dedicate the time I have available to them. These groups I am a part of depend on me, and I depend on them to make me happy. Oftentimes, I find myself double booked or with a lot on my plate. Because of this, I've been able to learn what time management skills work best for me, and it has sparked my love for organization and lists. Special thank you to the calendar app on my phone that keeps all my craziness in line. Meredith Grey and I are very different, but one way we are similar is that we are both loyal and dependable to the people and things that we love. Gossip Girl was my middle school escape show. When all else failed, I could rely on the social elite of Manhattan to take me away from all of my worries. The characters of Gossip Girl seem to have the perfect life and all the material things you can imagine. But on the inside, they all have some really big problems going on. Whether Nate's parents are involved in a money laundering scheme, Serena's been kicked out of school, or Chuck has a drug problem, they all look fabulous on the outside. The characters of Gossip Girl show how everything can look amazing on the outside, but on the inside, someone can really be struggling. And I think this is a very important lesson to learn. I'm also a little ashamedly attracted to how well these characters cover up what's going on underneath. My love for Gossip Girl shows something that is not the most positive trait in myself, but somewhere that I have room to grow and gives me a lesson to share with you today. Similar to the characters in Gossip Girl, I like to cover up what's going on underneath and don't like to talk about my feelings. I hate to cry in front of people and only to my mom all the thoughts that go on in my head. I'm here standing in front of you today, identifying this weakness in myself and acknowledging that I can do better. If you only take away one lesson from my speech, I hope you learn that it is okay to let people know what you are feeling. I'm always impressed when someone opens up to me.
While writing the speech, I've been trying to improve my ability to open up to people close to me, as I know how beneficial it can be to ask for help. The Bachelor shows are my not-so-guilty pleasure. I love to start my week with The Bachelor, Bachelorette, or Bachelor in Paradise. I myself am very competitive over things that don't need to be competed on. For example, Mr. Kimmel's Cahoots, card games, especially spin-ons, and having the best costume at a party. So I get very connected to these shows. I pick a favorite at the very beginning and then root for them very hard the whole way through. I take it personally when they are eliminated. I also love to go on Twitter after the show airs and see what everyone has to think. My sister and I will watch the shows together, and it always gives us something to talk about. Once we got in a huge fight about her stealing my clothes, which in my mind is the worst possible thing she can do to me. Later on that day, I saw an Instagram post about a couple in Bachelor Nation breaking up, and I had to send it to her. While I was hesitant at first at whether or not I was ready to not be mad at her anymore, I knew this would break the ice. We got home that afternoon, and all peace was restored. The Bachelor franchise shows reveal that I am loyal and love community. I am loyal to the people I choose to love in the show and those I watch the show with. This stupid show where people are fighting the entire time and creating unnecessary drama has brought me closer to my sister. Ainsley and I almost always watch the show together, and if we don't, we share a recap of it. I pretty much forced Ainsley into watching this show so I would have someone to talk about what occurred every Monday night, especially the things I hated. Ainsley is the perfect person for that, as we seem to like and dislike all of the same people. I'm thankful to the silly franchise that is Bachelor Nation for bringing me closer to my sister. In this season of my life, I've had to reflect on traits I admire in myself. Colleges want to know what you're good at and what you can identify about yourself. This was always the hardest part of the application. But through writing the speech, I now have a confident answer to those questions. I'm dependable, a little afraid to be vulnerable, and I'm loyal to my friends and family. While it may be a little too late for my college applications, I'm glad to have the chance to share a little bit about myself and my favorite shows with you. Thank you.
Our second speaker today is Elliot Abbott. Elliot will be introduced by her sister, Mimi Abbott.
Hi everybody, I'm Mimi, Elliot's favorite sibling. It is an honor for me to be introducing you. Elliot, you are the best sister anybody could ask for. You help me, teach me, and guide me through my experiences, reflecting off of yours. You are there to listen to my happiness, you are there to wipe my tears, and you are there to show up for me with your positivity. You have a special place in my heart, even after countless fights, silly arguments, playing, laughing, and most importantly, you invest a lot of emotion to make my time with you more meaningful. When you leave for college, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss our everyday moments together, like when we were driving home from school and listening to music, or when you would look at old photos on the iPad and laugh so hard our stomachs would hurt. These are some memories that will stick with me forever, and I hope you remember them too. I am so proud of your achievements, like naming our dog Loaf, or making the honor roll and getting accepted into the University of Alabama. We cannot be more proud of you, Elliot, and that is coming from Ben, Louise, and I. We love you, and now I welcome you, Elliot Abbott.
Hi. I'm assuming most of you have been an award winner, gotten a red something, or has even gotten the front of the line during Pastor Tortellini Day. All of these are victories. The feeling of being number one, the first. For me, one of my victories is being first in the directory. Since my first day stepping onto the school campus, the A and BB and Abbott has always trumped all the other last names of my classmates and the student body and faculty on campus. Even in lower school, you will probably remember everything was always sorted in alphabetical order, during all school ceremonies or in class activities in general. Well, I was always seated alongside my A and B last name friends. The pride I have being at the first. It's quite a liberating feeling knowing I know exactly where my name is on any class list. My gratification of being first carried into even my summer camp that I went to summer after summer. We would all get a name tag, and when we carried it down to the waterfront, so the counselors know how to keep track of us. I had that number 1 engraved tag on. Checking me in, and all the counselors would say, "Oh, cool, wow, number 1. Every time I went down there, I knock my head and say, "Yup," to the people around me. It fueling my ego for being the number 1 kid. Besides being the top of any school or camp directory list, I'm also the first child, the oldest of 4, meaning I'm basically the test run child. Trial and error. Ben, Mimi, and Louise, you all have the deconstructed, analyzed, and new and improved version of everything I've done. Because I'm the face of the Abbott kids, it can be a lot of hard work holding the bar high for all of them. I speak for my siblings in almost every situation when we're together, when someone is talking to us. For example, the night I had to talk to firefighters when Ben decided to cook dinner for himself the night before New Year's Eve, when our parents were gone and he ended up setting off the smoke alarms, resulting in firefighters complete with the fire truck, lights, and sirens blazing down our small street. They came to our house with the intention to rescue us from Ben's burnt dinner. It wasn't that serious because our house was not on fire, so who had to talk to these firefighters at the age of 13 and tell them that everything was fine, and it was just my brother who decided he wanted to make dinner. Me, a very good big sister moment that added to all the other moments of how I've taken initiative in situations. I'm proud that my siblings have watched me be the bigger person, and hopefully they've learned from me. Now I'm on my way out of the house. I hope that my big sister ways has taught my siblings a few things about speaking for themselves. Louise hopefully a little louder, Mimi a little less, and Ben a little nicer. I'm the 3rd generation of firsts. My dad is also the first of 4 kids, and then my grandpa, the oldest of 6. My mom, an only child, always has held that number 1 position, obviously. When they were younger, just like me, they also had to navigate their way through without an older sibling doing it first. Firstborn, first steps, first day of school, first failed assignment, first 100% assignment, and so on. However, having my younger siblings has helped me learn how to be a leader and be flexible. The 4 of us constantly have things going on, but we work as a unit to get it all done efficiently and smoothly. I'm glad I have them looking up to me as a role model and asking me if they need help or direction. Because the first child does have its feeling of being holding a superiority complex, I am very thankful. The first of the Abbott siblings to transition from a Catholic school to here was me. Then Ben followed my lead, then Mimi, and then finally Louise. Now we are all happily under the same school roof. Immediately upon arrival, I was taught work ethic and the expectation to work diligently and timely. Coming from a school where I struggled academically, collegiate was a relief when it came to all the help that was available to me. Although it was no easy transition. I still managed to take foundations math 3 times. 2 times at collegiate. Probably the first to do this, and if you have 2, I'm so impressed with us. However, at the time, I wasn't too proud. Every class, I distinctively remember arriving in Miss Boland's classroom in 7th grade for my foundations math, a little late before the accelerated math class of Algebra 1 arrived next door. Every single class I did this, until Xander Scott came all the way from Britain to help me, and we took on foundations together. Now I'm a senior, and my middle school math class is the last thing I think about. Now I'm a senior, and I'm speaking on this podium for my senior speech. The first Abbott in line of 4 to do it. In school and way outside of school, being number 1 feels so important, so significant, a structured importance to any human experience if named the first. Until this year, the Abbott family was knocked right from the pedestal. The crowd was crowned to another number 1. I would have never thought I would see the day this would change until I graduated and my name was simply not in the directory anymore. Aaron, a first grader with the last name of Aaron, sits right above. That AARON beats my ABBOTT. A kid, one of the furthest grades away from me. A kid at the beginning of his collegiate experience and me at my last. A senior to a first grader. This may seem like a defeat, a loss, a theft of victory, but this funny nod to being the first in the directory carries into the importance of being the top of my own list for being the best big sister, friend, family member, and student I can be. During his senior year, he'll stand right here where all the other seniors before him have stood, looking upon his class of 2033. He will give a piece of himself to the audience about his life. He will look back upon his years here and learn from his memorable or funny experiences that'll happen in the next 10 years or so. My title of being first in the directory was temporary, but all the precious things this school is giving me will last forever, and I hope our young new member, number 1 of the directory, cherishes it too. I owe Collegiate the community and love for granting me, giving me all these underlying and special firsts. In a bittersweet way, these firsts are my lasts. My first day of school this year was my last first day of school here. I am the first to graduate at Collegiate out of my siblings, but it will be the last collegiate ceremony I'll celebrate as a student. My time here has been precious but not over. I still have many months to live out my senior year and checkmark more firsts. Right now, my first and only senior speech has been checked. Thank you.
Finley and Elliot, thank you so much for sharing with us today, sharing part of you. Let's give another round of applause. All right, who are dismissed?
So in basketball,